we direct our positivity to you, our dear friends.
Okay, so I think
No,
we
we're
decided
gonna
we're
be
going to call
serious.
it Just Talk. I think because it's not scripted.
It's true.
Um,
Justin will love you still, but
Justin who?
Justin Bieber.
Oh,
You should be on our podcast next time.
okay.
We're inviting you, Justin Bieber, to our podcast, to this beautiful Bluffdale location. We explore the mountains and scenery.
I'm Anna E with A to Z Design
I'm Anna Gallagher, and we have a
With-
special guest
with
today.
Moxie
Moxie blankets.
blankets.
I
and
would have
then-
brought you a blanket, but it's a little hot.
It's kind of hot, yeah. Chris
and
Miles with Money Ripples.
Money Ripples.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah, excited to be here.
How do they ripple? Like this? Or like
Kinda-
this? Like a rain.
It's like,
Rain ripples. Money rain. Okay, sorry.
start breaking out Rihanna's umbrella. You know?
Rihanna, you should be on our podcast.
Bring Justin with you.
All right.
We're the best podcasters.
Yeah. So Chris is our first guest, our special guest. Chris, tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, I'm a Virgo. You know, I know.
Scared me there for a second.
You thought I was gonna say virgin?
What did you think he was going to say?
We're keeping that. That was so
Okay.
good. That's how that's our opening scene.
That's right.
All right,
Oh
continue.
my gosh.
Yep. So beyond being a Virgo, you know, apparently that's stunning. You know. Beyond being that, so yeah, I'm actually just a guy. You know, I'm a guy that's, you know, with a couple of
Not
women.
many people can admit. not many people can admit it these days.
I'm so glad you
It's
were
like such a loaded question. Like, tell us about you. Well, where do I start? You know, when I was in Pampers, or do we want to like just
All
talk
right,
about
all
like
right.
right now in the present moment?
Yeah, when
No,
did you
let's talk about-
find yourself as a human being with a purpose on this world? When was that defining moment forward?
I'll let you know.
Oh.
No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
yeah. So
No.
since we're supposed to be trying to figure out our lives in the present moment, I want to
Yeah.
say present. So who are you right now, Chris? Present.
So right now, I just feel like I'm Chris. You know, like I'm, you know, I am a father of 8. That's a role, right?
What?
I
8?
know. Yeah, not all mine. I mean,
Oh.
6 of them are. You know, the other 2, you know, they're bonus kids, right?
That's
But
awesome. I love
So,
bonus kids.
got a lot of kids. Definitely have a business. I've been a business owner for 23 years. I have various different businesses, mostly in the financial space and stuff. You know, I'm one of those guys that, you know, is kind of a nerd. You know, I'm definitely a dork. You know, and I love it.
Describe
Do-
that.
do-
What
do-
is a
yeah.
nerd or a dork?
Yeah, is it the
Well,
same?
so like in school, you know how like in the 80s movies, like you never want to be the nerd because the nerds are always in the
Oh, yeah.
trash cans.
But-
That was kind of like me a little bit, you know, like I wasn't in trash cans necessarily, but you know, I definitely became immune to Charlie horses and, you know, punching, you know, people punching in the arm. So when you kept hitting me and stuff, you're like, oh, sorry. I'm like, I didn't feel a thing, you know.
No,
no
no
nerves
one
here
got
anymore.
hurt in this video.
It's all
No
gone.
one got hurt in the recording of this video.
Speaking of abuse, yeah.
I know somebody who's emotionally abusive.
You right there.
I wish I had it on video. Recorded this.
Those people,
I
right?
could probably get money.
She's blackmailing.
I could totally blackmail you. I'm gonna
Anna
I'm gonna
admitted
say
it.
record everything now. Just kidding.
Yep.
I do. I
So-
give too much positivity. People cannot handle it.
So being a nerd, sometimes I feel like, were you
Yeah.
introverted?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was a very, but I wonder how much of that introversion, like I feel like I'm more of an ambivert, you know, like I'm like an extroverted introvert, if that makes sense.
It's like you can
Ambivert.
breathe in the air and underwater.
Yeah, but then I choke at both, you know, or something.
You say you've always been that way, or you kind of developed that?
I think I developed into that because as a kid, like, you know, I had a very overbearing father, and so I felt like I was a little bit more repressed, so I kind of went internal and more inward and were recluse a little bit. So I came out of my like I was more introverted in school, like so bad that seriously, if I were left the two of you in high school, I would be profusely sweating. Not because we were just on a bike ride, but just like because
nervous.
just like nervous, like there's two people. It didn't matter if it
Oh,
was
well,
women,
pretty hot.
men.
So, you
Yeah.
know, like the radiation of the heat.
It is. It's true. But no, like it was just like that thing, like having to talk to people. Like seriously, when I was 13 years old, I had my first girlfriend. It's like
13?
yeah.
He's not an introvert.
Well, I mean, I was definitely introverted for sure. I was
23,
shy.
maybe.
In fact, I was so shy as a 6-year-old that they asked me.
Wow.
They asked me. They're like, "Hey, do you want to be in Seven White and the Seven Dwarfs? No, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You want to be in the play?" I was like, "No way. They're like, "It's okay. We'll give you Bashful." I'm like, "No." They're like, "No. Your only line in the whole play is to do this." And I seriously threw up beforehand, before my massive first performance,
Really?
my debut performance. Yeah, like I was so nervous to even like nod my head on
That was
cue.
at the Carnegie
I'm
Hall.
I'm
too,
actually so the same. I'm the same
Mhm.
now though.
Oh,
Like
yeah?
yeah, to put me in front of a stage, on a stage in front of a lot of people, like
Yeah.
I get so nervous I start shaking really bad. My body starts shaking
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
so bad. Mentally I could say, I'm okay, I'm going to talk about myself,
Mhm.
but within 3 minutes my entire body starts shaking really bad.
It's
Yeah.
the energy too much. You take it
No,
in.
it's no.
No,
I don't think
Fear?
no.
it's internal, right? Like
it's a
I
I
get
think
that
it's
too.
a psychological thing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm working through it. Something
Yeah.
that I'm working through, but yeah, I've had
I
the
still get
same
nervous
issue.
every time too, even though I've spoken thousands of times and stuff. Like, because I did break out of that mold in college. In college, like I decided to actually like break out and just decide to be different. So I decided to be like this overly extroverted person, and
Oh, I remember you saying that.
yeah, which was
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Just like overcorrected.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was almost like, hey, I've been like in the shell for too long. Now I'm just gonna break out of it. And so I did that, and that was kind of, it was fun. Like I mean, I remember like being in a small college campus with like 9,000 students. My goal was to like in 1 year get to know 25% of the student body. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. And
With what purpose?
Did you do that?
I did. Yeah, I think like when I would see people on campus, even if I didn't know their names, because I didn't know most of the names, I could still recognize them, and they would recognize me. And so I got to that point because I would just say hi to everybody. Just like, hi, 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 hi.
How
Like
do you
just,
feel like that helped you as you started to progress in business?
it helped because I used to think then I was like, oh, I must be an extrovert, right? And so I would, get out of my shell a little bit. But
Mhm.
as I got more past my 30s and 40s and things like that, now it's like, okay, I'm kind of the balance in between. It's a little bit different. And but in business, it helps because, like for example, I kind of realized in college, like what I did, I almost became like, I'm just telling you guys all my secrets.
I like it. Tell
like
them all.
so like
we're
you
gonna
guys
share
remember,
them with the world.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
I love that movie.
So like
the Ferris
Ferris Bueller,
Day Off. Have you seen it?
Bueller.
I'm from
Bueller.
Russia.
That's a new thing.
See, you
We're
guys were
gonna
deprived.
we'll have to do that for your birthday. Your birthday on Saturday.
I have so many birthday movies to watch.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
know.
watch that one.
This is gonna be like this marathon of movies that you missed out on because the Iron Curtain.
So tell me, so about that movie.
Yeah, so like in that movie, like there's one line or comment in there where they said like Ferris was just like would naturally, like he would be with the preppies, he'd be with the nerds or like the stoners, like he could find a way to almost chameleon in with all of them, right?
Mhm.
Like he could just find a way to relate to all of them, like they all loved him, all those groups. I was like, I'm gonna do that. So like in my early 20s, I'm like, how can I like do that? Like really find a way to like connect with anybody. And so even guys are like massive gamers. Like I'm not a gamer, right, by any way, shape, or
So
form,
you're a
right?
shapeshifter.
Yeah, it kind of was. Like I was really like
Yeah.
just
You're
trying
trying
things
to
on.
figure it out.
Yeah, and so what I do is I would just ask them questions, right?
Mhm.
Almost like doing an interview, right? I would just ask them questions, like, even if I just said like, oh yeah, like, yeah, that game that seems really cool. They're like, oh my gosh, like how you do this and this. They just assume I know the game, and they just go on and on and on about it. And then they're like, yeah, like that was awesome. Like it's like so cool. We should do that sometime. I'm like, sure. It's like
That's
going bike
cool.
riding. It's like, yeah, I haven't done that in like 20 years. Why not?
So he goes with the flow, but goes deep.
Yeah, but I just let them do it, and they just assume I know all the stuff about them, right? And so, but then we create this bond, like this connection.
Is it real bond though?
I think to
Or
a
it
certain
becomes
level.
real after you actually educate yourself and you experience another person's world, basically.
Yeah,
I
Right?
think so.
because every
I
person's
think
more
it's-
than a game.
I think you
Yeah.
stay.
Right.
I think that the easiest way to connect with somebody is have them talk about themselves.
Mhm.
Find out about who they are, and
Yeah.
if you genuinely care,
Mhm.
then they're gonna feel that.
Yeah, well, and I learn. Like
Yeah.
I learn stuff. So that's the funny thing is like I'll pick up stuff from them. Then the next gamer or whatever I talk to be like, oh yeah, like this and this and this. Like yes, like yeah, like so they just like you're able to like find ways to connect with different types
Right,
of
you
people.
broke that barrier already once with one person, learned about it.
Hmm.
So it becomes your like internalized experience that you can share with other people more
Right.
genuinely and more um, openly.
Yeah, so it helps build that quick rapport.
Yeah,
You know, and I think in business that's essential. You know,
yeah,
it's like
for sure.
how do you like really connect with somebody? And I'll tell you, like it's not easy for me to connect with people because like I'm in my own head. You know, like I have my own view, my own worldview and perspective. You know, like if somebody has a very different view, it's not that I judge it. I think it's bad. It's just sometimes I don't always understand it. So I have
Right.
to talk with them and get to know them and go deeper. And so I feel like I really spent a lot of my 20s really just trying things on, getting to know people and understanding different things.
You did it the right way, people. What?
Yeah, that's part of my human design,
Yes.
you know.
I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. I think everybody.
I
has,
think
like,
the
a
more
different
you
road.
learn and experience and allow yourself in that early age of your development, I think the more like deeper you can go into like your 30s with already like a good set of understanding that everyone is different. Because I think when you have preset ideas towards something and you stick with it and you kind of don't allow other people to share with you information and you don't receive it, like it kind of puts you on the like closed-minded
Are
space.
you talking about maturity levels?
It can be, right? Because the maturity level, in my opinion, comes when you start accepting of other people's opinions, right? And you don't treat it as a right way or a wrong way. It's like it's another opinion. So the more you experience other people and like learn about them, you kind of go into the older stage when you actually start developing who you are, what your purpose in life is, how you want to actually approach people in business and relationship. I think that gives you like that extra level of consciousness.
And you talk about time with age.
Yeah.
I feel like that can happen at any time in any person's life.
Yeah, but if
at
you,
what level
yeah.
do you become like if you accept who you are? I think it starts with you, right?
True.
It does.
So when you start questioning yourself and you want to explore and become different, then that's where the maturity starts to begin. It can start at 5 years old, it can start at 17.
So the earlier it starts, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The earlier it
helps.
It helps the earlier because then you have more time, maybe.
What do you guys think?
They can't really respond right
Well,
now.
they can comment.
So yeah.
Why
Let
don't
us know your opinion about this. Is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comment.
Yeah.
Comment about this. Let us know.
Yeah, I can see both points.
Yeah, for
See?
sure.
No. But it's true. Like, and I started to think about like, why did I do that? I realized that I think I had this deep-seated like desire to want to be liked. I think that's where it really stemmed from. So even though it worked out, like really it was just like I wanted to be liked because I felt like.
Where did that come from?
Well, I think really. Well, I mean, after doing a lot of hypnotherapy last year, you know, I started to realize.
I love hypnotherapy.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, we are doing this right now. We're subconsciously programming your mind. Sorry.
No, but yeah, as I went through like hypnotherapy, I realized like a lot of experiences with like, you know, even just little things that, you know how like we as parents, and I know this because I tell my kids this all the time. It's like, listen, you're going to have to like go through lots of counseling to fix all the things I screwed up in you, you know, because whether it was intentional or not. And even with my parents, like I remember like my mom, when I was 5 years old, like they teach me a lesson because she kept saying, hey, stay with me. It was in the grocery store. She's like, stay with me. And I'd wander off and stay with me and wander off and look at other stuff.
So that's where his personality shows up. But he was like taken into like, no, you have to stay in this space, in this boundaries. Don't go, don't explore, don't wander off.
Don't wander off, and then be a good boy, right? And then of course, like when I didn't do that, I realized that after I was exploring whatever aisle it was, and then I looked around, I couldn't find my mom. And I go look around the checkout aisles and I don't see her there. I'm looking through the whole store. Then I go run out the parking lot and I see that the truck is gone. It's gone. And I'm like crying, you know, and being a 5-year-old, of course, like, oh my God. And then of course I eventually see her like come around, you know, and drove in, and she's like, don't wander off again. And so it almost like subconsciously,
factor.
Yeah, it's like you have to be a good boy. You have to like be a people pleaser. And if you don't do that, then people will leave.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, that's what it did to you.
That's what it did for me.
I don't think
Yeah.
your mom intentionally
Oh,
did
no.
that
Oh, she
to
did
like.
intentionally.
Well,
No, not
that
not
wasn't
like
that wasn't what she wanted to
but
portray.
not
I totally
that.
do this. I totally do this.
My mom, no,
But
no.
I actually do it on purpose. No, it's
Well, that's what
true.
intentionally
No, no,
means.
I meant what I meant by that was I'm sure she didn't intentionally mean to break you for
Oh,
the rest
no.
of your life.
No.
Because that was traumatizing.
That was mean.
Yeah.
No, he took that as though he needs to people please, otherwise they leave me.
Mm.
Not she was trying to just teach him, hey, you need to follow my orders right now, otherwise, you'll be left or
Mhm.
whatever. He took that like whirl like for the rest. That I did the same thing with my mom. Did that too. My mom was so strict with everything that I ever did, and
Yeah.
but it made me live within this like this boundary of not being able to expand
Yeah.
beyond that. And I
Mhm.
was so used to being controlled that those are the relationships that I went into.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a generational thing? I feel like we're kind of coming out from like the same age group, and
Mm.
like, and me coming from Russia too, right? Like we're 10 years behind and everything there, at least used to be when I was growing up. So like all the experience that I usually share with people, it's very common theme of parents growing up with the same mentality,
Mm.
how they treat people, what they like word to word, what they tell their children, it's almost like ingrained in our parents' generation, and this is how it's affecting us today.
Yeah, and the whole point is I'm saying is that I don't think my mom had any intention
Yeah,
on
exactly.
causing
No,
me
of course
harm.
not.
You
No.
know, and the more I learn about it, before I was blaming her, like it's all her fault. She doesn't like me. She hates me, type
Right.
thing. But now I know that she just didn't know any better.
She's
Like
doing
we
the
are
best she
with our
could.
own kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Like I know, like with one of my sons, like there was one time like I blew up at him, and he still remembers it to this day. And I was like, that's gonna be one of those things you're gonna have to work out. Sorry, but it's we all have it, and I mean, my dad, he blew up at me too. Like he was way worse than I was. Like he was like I was compared him to Fred Flintstone. Not that you ever never do, not like that, but like he was always like angry, like just constantly angry and yelling and stuff. And so I had to be quiet, and be almost like submissive in that sense, So there's a lot of those things. But then he's like, come on, like stand up for yourself, do this. Like he's telling me to do that, but then he's like at the same time like cutting down, So there was like all those kind of all those little things you have to like work through as
Do
you
you
become
think
an
maybe
adult.
it was like a challenge? Like he tells you what you need to become and then challenges you in the opposition, like for you to stand up back to him.
Eventually, I did.
You did?
Yeah. I mean, it took a while, but
Yeah.
finally I did that. But it was, but yeah, like and we created a strained relationship even to our adulthood. It wasn't until like really recently, in the last several years that finally those walls kind of broke down.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost as I did my own healing, and then of course he's going through his own journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had to soften as he got older.
Mm.
As he lost energy and stuff. He wasn't as like much of a fireball. And then he was kind of like, I'm just tired and I can't believe I'm alive still.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then I'm like, okay, he was just doing whatever he was taught, and it's kind of filtering through the generations. And
Right.
how do we break those patterns?
Isn't it amazing?
So I thought myself. I've been thinking about that too as I've worked on myself a lot, like the past 3 years, just trying to transform everything about me. And as I started to tear away from the attachments I had with my personal relationships, like with my parents and stuff like that, I could see them for who they were, and then I started to treat them different. And then you could just tell that just by doing that, like treat my kids different, I treat everybody different than I used to, and everything is starting to just shift.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Oh yeah.
With your have you done that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it takes time, right, for you to actually go into that darker space, into understanding, oh my gosh, I was experiencing exactly, or I'm becoming my parent at some point, and when you start recognizing those traits that you kind of wanted to like get away from, and then you're like, oh, I see how it's affecting me now.
Yeah.
Now I can make a transition from it, like internally, like I don't want that because I rejected it. Now I portray that in me, but I don't want to pass it on to my children, to my people around me. So it's more like a logical experience, of your own mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
So how has it affected your business life now, going through these transitions and working on yourself?
Oh, it created hell. Yeah,
Hell?
yeah, absolutely. It was, but in a good way, like in
Yeah,
a good way.
explain that.
Yeah, because like for example, I mean, and a lot of this, like I said, like 2024 was kind of like this big journey for me, in the sense of because being a people pleaser, you don't hold boundaries, right?
Why 2024? What happened in 2024?
And that's when I started like hypnotherapy and stuff,
Oh, okay.
and just like different things felt like they're breaking down in life,
Mhm.
like because on the outside everything's great, you're making great money, and all this kind of stuff, and so it looks like you have the perfect life, but then you also know internally that's not that way, right? And I think there's a lot more people that feel that way.
Rise of consciousness.
You know, you know who you are.
We will find you, and you're going to be on our
That's right.
podcast.
Target all of them.
We invite you.
Yeah, because like it seems like I have the dream life, the dream home, the dream everything, and all that kind of stuff. People are like, oh, you're so blessed. Like I am. However, like I can tell like there's a misalignment, right,
Mm.
internally, and especially like it was affecting marriage, it was affecting with my kids, it was affecting just everything, and so that's where I realized I'm like I got to fix this.
With misalignment in what? In what you wanted and what you had, or what?
Or who I was being,
Or who you were being?
who I was being.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Trying to figure out who you were.
yeah, because like for example, with my family, I started out, especially with this marriage. I've been married about 9 years now, and going in, like the thing that she loved and I would get all the acclaim for was the fact that I would serve, right? So I would help her cook, clean, take care of the kids when she was a single mom burning out, and so I would use that as like the reason of like, oh, hey, look, I get kudos, like she loves me, right? I'm creating value. I'm earning that love that I want, right? By serving and doing that stuff. Even though service is not my love language at all, right? Like it's there.
But you want to be accepted. You wanted to you were people pleaser.
Yeah, I'm very much like the physical touch, words of affirmation kind of guy. So I'm like, yeah, give me that. But then I realized like when like I always was relying on that external, it wasn't fulfilling at all, right? Plus, I would go through like months, and then I am like, I'm not just working and running a business, right? But then I'm serving my family, and I'm cooking and cleaning, and I'm like, it's like this is it's weighing on me.
Self-advertisement.
Yeah,
He's a Virgo.
that's true. That's true. But I have my Aries, moon sign, so I got a lot of fire in me. But anyways, but yeah, so again, I was trying to like do all that kind of stuff, right? And so every few months, eventually, I would just explode. Like I would blow up with my kids or whatever, and they're like, "Dad's crazy! Like he's going crazy." It's like no, like I just held it in, and I'm like giving and giving and giving and giving, and like you empty out your tank, and you're not even running on empty anymore. You're just empty.
So
Right?
interesting.
Kind of like I bet a lot of moms can relate to that too.
I
think everybody.
yeah,
can relate
for
to
sure.
that.
But like,
Mhm.
if you're giving out so much, what is left to explode?
Well, just like
Because
resentment.
you're taking in,
Mhm.
so you're giving out all the good stuff, but you're
Yeah.
taking in all the resentment, all the
Yeah.
negativity, and that's what
Yeah, that goes out.
explodes.
Resentment
He
builds.
also had no boundaries either,
Right.
right? So
Right.
he was not creating any boundaries for himself or anybody else. So he was being taken advantage and taking advantage of.
and
Yeah.
allowing to
I
be
was allowing
taken.
it.
But
Yeah.
here's where the blow up comes from, right?
Mhm.
It's not coming from other people, right?
No,
Right.
it's not.
Why were you upset?
I was upset because I was violating my own
Mm,
boundaries, right?
Right.
I was the one that wasn't saying no,
right.
and so that's why it's not their fault at all. They're just playing in with my own belief system, right?
Yeah.
They're just playing in the
And
role.
here's what most people don't understand
Yeah.
is that they'll blow up and be angry,
Mhm.
but blame other people for them being angry
Oh, yeah.
for the choices they're doing,
Yeah.
for the giving they're giving, and they're not getting validated the way that they're expecting it because
Yep.
that's what they want for themselves without actually seeking it within.
Oh yeah.
And so that's good though. That
That's-
means you
I
became
definitely did that.
aware. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and I did too forever. Where you definitely get but now you're aware
Mhm.
that was actually your own fault
Oh yeah.
because you didn't set boundaries.
Yeah. Well, and that's where it's empowering too, because when you realize like, wait, it
Yeah.
is in my control. It's not like external. It's not other people
Right.
having to, somehow help me out. It's like, no, if I have my own boundaries, say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that anymore. And so that starts creating stress. That's why I say it creates hell a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Because it's pretty soon like your marriage is suffering because they're like, wait, what's going on here? Like, you can't say no. Like we've had this dynamic for years. Like you can't do
Right,
that,
right.
right? And then of course, like even with like my business, like I'm like, okay, I can't let this behavior get away in business anymore you keep doing this, you're gone. You know,
Right.
which I'm the person like I don't want to fire anybody. I want everybody to love being working with us, all that kind of stuff. But it's like no, we got to set a boundary at some point, and that's starting to create fear and chaos a little bit because then people
And
are like,
that's where that fire comes from that you said at the beginning. Where like
uh-huh,
yeah,
yeah, exactly,
everything.
Yeah. But once you
yep,
once you realize where that energy starts coming in of that like negativity and you're
hmm,
like that resentment or whatnot
yeah,
comes in, that's exactly the point where you're like, oh, I recognize that now.
hmm,
I know that where it's gonna be and how explosive I can become if I allow this to continue coming my way. So
hmm,
you set the like a space almost, not the boundary, but you set
right,
a space between it. You know,
right,
because setting the boundaries in my idea, it's like you're blocking it, you're
hmm,
not resolving it.
yeah,
But when you create a healthy space and you recognize it that it's there,
yeah,
like, oh, this is actually something that I do not like. That something doesn't make me a better person because I become overreactive, I become explosive, I
hmm,
become like if it affects me so much
yeah,
that just letting it be away is the
That is a boundary though.
hmm,
That is
that's
for
a
you to like for
mhm.
example like this table. Like we can't go any further because it's set. There's a boundary right here.
Yeah, and she's a space designer, so she knows
she would
all
know.
about the space.
She knows all about
That's
boundaries.
not what I'm talking about. But you
It's
know what
true.
I'm
No,
saying,
no, no, it's
right?
true.
But you're saying you have to create space, but that's what you do when you set a boundary. You
Mm,
are saying, okay, look, I'm gonna protect my peace,
Yeah.
mhm,
and my peace is this is you need to be here, I need to be here. You either do this or you're gone
Yeah.
because I need to.
yeah,
And you allow something else to fill that space and
mhm,
that comes already from the conscious decision, right?
yeah,
Like, wait a minute. So if that anger is on that side, like what am I feeling this space so it doesn't approach me,
hmm,
so you like, maybe I become more self-loving, more
hmm,
self-healing, taking care of what's important for
Are you
me at the
talking? Are you
moment.
talking about pushing the anger part away?
Not
The
no, like
emotion,
whatever that not it's
or
not really pushing it away, it's recognizing it that it's not part of you,
but it is part of you.
but it cannot be.
No, it. But that's
What do you
why.
think?
Yeah. Okay.
Tell us in the
Opinions. That's really
comments.
good too. Emotion is us. Like
hmm,
he can't give me his emotion. That's his own
hmm,
emotion. So emotion comes from deep within. But anything that you feel is just a result of what's going on inside you.
hmm,
Hmm.
So anger, from my perspective, obviously can only have my perspective, right?
hmm,
So anger, from my perspective, is only an indicator of a violated boundary, a
Hmm.
violated value. And so when you're angry about something somebody's done,
Hmm.
then they violated some sort of rule that you had for yourself. Maybe you didn't even know that you
whether they
had
knew it
it.
or not, or you knew it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whether you knew it or not. But that's I'm in a I always talk about the program, but I'm in a program where I'm learning my values right
Hmm.
hmm,
now, and so as I go through and I'm learning my important values and my perspective of what
Hmm.
I want, it's so much easier to have relationships with people because I can see what their values are,
Hmm.
hmm,
and if their values are the same as my values, then we align connect so much easier.
It's
Where
true.
if somebody doesn't respect your values, then that's where, but that's emotion. That's my opinion though.
No, it's true. I
yeah,
I absolutely agree. It just and you said it right. Like, right, we have all these experiences, all these emotions, all these things that we go through, and how we violate our own boundaries? Do we violate our own set standards? Absolutely, every day.
Then they're
yeah.
not really our boundaries and standards that we really want to keep.
That's a good point.
It's a guideline,
Well, yeah,
not so much a rule.
that's how you. Yeah,
Not so much rules, they're guidelines.
it's not necessarily, you know.
Thanks, Barbosa.
I don't know. The yellow.
I don't know the
Pirates of the
reference.
Caribbean.
I should watch that movie too.
Yeah. Birthday movie.
Pile it on.
It's like the list is like look like Santa Claus naughty
Oh my
nice
gosh,
list,
you don't even know. Mostly naughty.
It's so true.
That's for nighttime.
Yeah, so now setting boundaries for yourself and within your own family and now in business,
hmm
how has that affected how has that affected you now presently? Like where are you at with all that?
Well, it's a lot better. Like being here right now, like I wouldn't have given myself permission to be here, right? Because I would be like, oh well,
And you say here, you mean like
with the
us.
two of you, yeah.
Yeah.
Like because right now we're like here in the morning, like this time, like kids, well, summertime, eventually we'll wake up, right? But it's like, oh well, I got to make breakfast. Like I got to do this, I got to do that, right? And do I have to? No, I don't. Like
Right.
I can give myself that permission to occasionally like walk away or step away from that. And I'll tell you, like the pendulum swung both directions. Like when I was really starting to heal it, because it went to the
Mm.
point of like always giving to all of a sudden like screw the rest of the world. Like what, maybe I can burn my business to the ground. Maybe I'll just
Start over.
divorce, lose my kids, like just go into a cabin and be alone. Like screw everyone else because I was getting angry.
So you should start going away from to the cabin. So backtrack, right?
Right.
Wait, so you
Yeah.
started getting angry because of who? Were you getting angry at yourself and you're like, that's it?
Well, at first I was angry at everybody else, right? It's
Okay.
like everybody's been taking and not giving back, like screw everyone.
The awareness.
And then it was like, as it started to settle, and this is, by the way, it wasn't just, there was a moment that it happened, like this is even during a hypnotherapy session, it was happening. But then I realized too, like as the months went on, it's like, okay, bring it back to balance. Like you both can exist, right? You can honor yourself and still have people in your life, right? Because the reason I didn't feel like I could is because I wasn't honoring myself. And so the only way to honor my own boundaries is have nobody in my life to people please, right? Nobody to worry about. And then when I realized, no, you can have both, you just had to hold those boundaries, then all of a sudden that's when the happiness came. That's when like the peace came as a result. But no, there's a few times I'm just like, screw it all. Like, I don't care.
I'm against boundaries. No boundaries.
Just space.
Do you want me to tell you why? So everyone tries to become limitless and free and experience everything in this world, and then they're like, I need to set these boundaries between everything else what's happening. So like, how do you become free and boundless and like abundant when you have like
You're taking boundary as a cage.
Yeah.
But boundary is not a cage. Setting a boundary is mainly saying, hey, this is what I know about myself, and this is what I want, and this is what I don't want. And because you cannot control anybody else, because everybody is free to do whatever they want and they'll have their own choices, you have to set a boundary so that they know what you will accept and what you won't accept. It's not a cage where you're putting yourself in this box and you're like, that's it, nobody can come in. But in a sense, it does allow you freedom to be yourself without being guarded, because you don't trust, like you said, we were talking earlier when you were talking about you're a completely different person when you talk about moxie blankets versus going to ecstatic dance, right? Because there are people you don't know. You don't know what their reactions are going to be. You don't know how they're going to judge you. And so you set boundaries up for yourself to protect yourself so that you
I don't think it's a boundary. I'm not really setting a boundary. It's more like it's an energy. It's like a different energy that I experience within me. So yeah, you generate it. You like anyway. Energy is going to be our next stop. But what do you guys think about the boundaries? Do you think you set the boundaries or someone else sets your boundaries, and does it keep you?
And do you like boundaries?
Do you like
even have boundaries?
Do you like to be constrained?
Chris.
Maybe.
Or are you talking about bondage? Bound.
I think that's
boundaries
liberating.
And bondage. That's a little bit different.
There's a little bit of freedom there too.
All right.
That was a good one.
Okay. Let us know what you think. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Chris,
I'm sure we'll have you again.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we got to do it again.
Now because we all match again.
Hey, which is that?